Hey everyone, how you doing today? We are going to have a conversation with Dana from Hemlane around Section 8 housing. This is a topic I've been asked a lot. Just so everybody knows right up front, I'm pro Section 8 housing. It was one of my goals when I got into this business is provide above average for that kind of quality. So I have something called Pride of Ownership rentals, which I create and supply that are open to Section 8 house or recipients if they happen to be the first one to get a yes answer. So Dana, let's talk about Section 8 housing because I'm only familiar with it in California, and I'm sure every state has their own program.
Yeah, they definitely do. And as it's Fair Housing Month, there are certain states where you cannot discriminate against Section 8.
Mhm.
California in January 1st of 2020 passed that, where you cannot say no to Section 8 tenants.
Mhm.
Connecticut, Massachusetts, DC, the list goes on.
Yep.
But it's important to understand Section 8, whether or not your state allows you to say yes or no to Section 8,
Mhm.
understanding what it is and how to make it successful to your point.
Yep.
So let's just start with Section 8 in general, right? The applicant, who's going to become the tenant, how much they pay is basically capped at 30% of their income.
Yep.
And with that, what's great about that is you think of this income to rent ratio 3 to 1. What they're trying to do, which is very good, especially with affordability problems and an widening income gap, what the government is trying to do is say you shouldn't be so cost burdened. There were tenants out there that were paying 60, 70% of their income on housing. And then from that perspective, they literally can't even get food, diapers for their kids, anything like that, right? And so that is why the program was started. It's difficult to get into it on the tenant side, right?
Yep. Waiting lists. Yeah.
Yeah. So people always ask, what are the pros and cons of it, right? The biggest pro, which I think you would strongly agree, is rent is paid on time. To be in the program, they have to pay rent, and the government is always on time with
Mhm.
their rent checks.
Mhm.
They don't use online software platforms. They will send it to you in the mail,
Mhm.
but that's okay. That's beside the point. Hopefully
Mhm.
one day they partner with us. But the rent is paid on time. And I found the government to be very professional with it. Every time I've worked with Section 8, it's they respond right away, all of that.
Oh yeah.
What are some of the cons that people have? They might not be cons, but I'll mention them. There are additional inspections and
Mhm.
checklists you have to go through. I kind of like that. It makes sure that you're not a slumlord, the word that everyone doesn't want to be, and
Mhm.
make sure that you're professional and you're keeping things up to code, but you do have additional coordination with it,
Mhm.
right? And so you definitely have to do that.
Yeah, let
Um,
me
the,
let me talk about that one because
yeah.
as a landlord who invests out of area and has no interest in self-management, no interest. I actually see those yearly inspections as check the checker. Let me explain what that is. So obviously everybody knows I pay a property manager, right? So I
Mhm.
pay them to do a job. And I don't go through my units, right? I don't check to make sure they're doing them, right? I get bills, I approve this, I get pictures of big jobs, all of that stuff. But I'm not checking for the little things, right? So I love the Section 8 inspection. So first off, in California, I believe it's $100. It was 50. I think it's 100 now. Even if it's 50, it doesn't matter. I have to pay for them. And what I get from the reports is I get to see if the property manager is doing their job. And
Mhm.
yes, I get annoyed when the tile is cracked or the carpet is up in the corner or, the little things that sometimes get caught. Those are annoying, but they're part of the game. It's okay. But also, not only am I checking the checker, right? Because what I have seen is, hey, there's a leak in the bathroom. I'm like, there's a freaking leak in the bathroom? Really? Somebody,
Yeah.
somebody better get on that, right? Because I hate water, right? Water destroys drywall. Water destroys, flooring. It's not good. So I like checking the checker. And also, I mean, people don't realize this. Yes, there's a laundry list of things that landlord gets, but the program is checking the tenant. It holds the tenant to a standard as well,
Mhm.
right? I've had reports come back where the tenant is being threatened with kicked out of the program because they are not good housekeepers, right? They're dirty. So again, yes, you pay for it. It's a yearly inspection. I happen to love it because it gives me a report on my property manager and the tenant. And I think that's the best thing. Yes, the money shows up and all of those things. But for me, it's those damn reports that are most important to me.
Yep. Yeah. And you should be doing inspections anyways annually, right? So with them doing it, and if you didn't have a property manager and you paid someone to go out and do it, right?
Yeah.
You're still paying for it either way. So yeah, some people think of that as a negative and downside of it. I, to your point, think that it's actually good. You should be keeping your properties and maintaining them in a great condition. The other thing that people say is it's more difficult to terminate the lease if you want some more flexibility, because in some cases the housing authority will become a co-defendant in it. So that's definitely something. There's like kind of some extreme cases with that happening, but overall, I think Section 8 now that we talk about fair housing and we talk about affordability gaps and stuff, when you're in the game of real estate investing and rental properties, you really have to understand those macro trends of what's happening and how we as a community can help come together to provide more affordable housing, to help people get into homes and make sure that for everyone, it's a win-win. Ways to ensure success that I think on my side is also to do your own inspections. Make sure the number of occupants who are on the lease are the ones who are actually staying there, right? Sure. Stay up to date with laws and regulations and what's happening with Section 8. Have a really good relationship with the manager you have for Section 8, giving them notices on any rent increases, things like that. As long as you have that, you can be good. I've also seen with Section 8 tenants, they getting into a home like this where the government is paying for the rent, they don't want to leave, right? So you'll have if you're looking to reduce vacancy, which can be your biggest cost, or a bad tenant as well, you can have a really successful experience with it. But it's always making sure, obviously, communication is there across the board. Everyone's following the lease, everything that you would basically set up in a standard agreement as well.
Yeah. The other thing I would point out, because a lot of people hear stories that actually never had tenants or Section 8 tenants, they hear the horror stories, right? So I've had thousands of tenants over the last 20 years, and I have 5 what I would call horror stories. 3 of them were cash paying tenants, which, oh, by the way, when I look at the totality of the loss, was far greater than the 2 Section 8 stories I have. Because again, Section 8 will work with you. Section 8 will help you terminate the tenant if they are bad actors, right? Because again, they have a waiting list. They're trying to help as many people as they can. If somebody got in the program 1 year and 3 years later they're a bad actor, Section 8 will cancel their program, right? I've had tenants where that's happened because they're not acting. So I would tell you as a new landlord to give the program a shot. Don't listen to the negative stories. 99% plus of the Section 8 tenants would love to be in a home. They'll stay forever, to your point, and they're hardworking, quality individuals. Don't let your, I don't know, maybe unknown biases detract you from being part of an excellent program. So that's what I want to say about Section 8. I look forward to number 3 and how we can help landlords in fair housing. Thanks, Dana.
Great. Thanks so much.
Yep.